What's up, everybody? It's Walter, your favorite historian and professor. Today's date is May 24th, 2026. So we see that Tulsi Gabbard has become the third domino after Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi to leave the Trump administration, or as I like to say, episode 2 of The Apprentice White House Chronicles. So I've always had, shall we say, a strong opinion of Tulsi Gabbard, excuse me, ever since the 2020 presidential election when she ran and of course ultimately lost the nomination to Joe Biden. She has seemed like a disgruntled ex-girlfriend of the Democratic Party who was mad that she got dumped for lack of better words, and has just been a pain in the ass ever since. Okay, she became a very early critic of the Biden administration, officially leaving the Democratic Party in 2022 and then selling her soul to Donald Trump and the GOP in 2024, becoming a Republican and endorsing Donald Trump and actively campaigning for his reelection in 2024. So one of the many reasons Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party in 2022 was that she blasted the Biden administration as being full of elitist warmongers. Coinciding with that, she essentially blamed Biden and his quote unquote aggressive maneuvers in foreign policy with provoking the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Now, much of this to me, of course, is opinion rather than fact. Tulsi Gabbard has always been sort of a thorn in the side of the Democratic Party, even when she was serving in Congress. And she's always favored an isolationist stance when it comes to foreign policy, which, of course, ultimately would make her very appealing to the America First camp that Donald Trump, at least in theory, leads. So we see that in her joining Trump and becoming a part of his administration, we see that we have now engaged in a fruitless war with Iran. Although my opinion on that has already been given to you. I have no sympathy with the regime in Iran. If we were going to do it, we might as well finish the job. But in any case, what's started must be finished. But this war with Iran is something that she had long been opposed to, long before she became a member of the Apprentice administration. As early as 2020, she had strongly fought against a war with Iran, calling it a waste of tax money and American lives. So with our current war in Iran, obviously such a stance would put her at direct odds with the Trump administration. Now, of course, being fiercely opposed to a war with Iran and with us going to war with Iran and her some time ago putting out a directive as Director of National Intelligence, or whatever position she held, that Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon, such a position put her in direct conflict with the Trump administration. Okay? And of course, we can't have that. No, President Donald Trump cannot have any of his minions putting things out there or taking active stances that run directly contrary to his mission statement, whatever that happens to be at any given time. So Tulsi Gabbard, in maintaining this anti-war stance, obviously immediately put her on thin ice with the Trump administration, with her, putting out the information that Iran was not developing a weapon. President replied essentially that he didn't care what she said and that this war was justified and necessary. So Tulsi Gabbard's days essentially would be numbered after that point. And we see that on May 22nd, ultimately, she submitted her resignation from the Trump administration, citing the reason to take care of her husband, who has an aggressive form of cancer. All right. I wish him the best in that battle. Cancer is no joke. Now, while that may be certainly a valid reason for her stepping down from the administration, anyone with common sense knows that that's not the whole picture. Okay. If Tulsi Gabbard, given her direct opposition to the war in Iran and the president's equally determined position to maintain it until he gets favorable results, we know that Tulsi Gabbard's days, like I said, were numbered. Okay, it was either quit or face the same fate as Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi, to be fired from the sitcom. And she chose the honorable way out and simply resigned. She knew that it was unfeasible for her to continue serving in the Trump administration, essentially living a lie, maintaining her position against a war with Iran, all the while he maintains a war with Iran. It's just not going to work. Donald Trump does not allow people to be in his circle that, A, make him look bad, and B, put out positions that run directly in contrast to whatever he's spouting out at any given time. And as far as I'm concerned, the America First mantra is dead. Remember when he ran, he put out there no new wars, and that it was going to be Kamala Harris would be the one that would take us to war with Iran, and this, that, and the third. And what has he done? He started new wars and all kind of shit is anything but America First. So who was the liar? Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, Kamala Harris warned the American people about all of this stuff. But that's quite a few people, over 77 million, didn't bother to listen. Okay? And this is the result of not listening. You get what you pay for. You get what you voted for. So, yeah, Tulsi, though I have no empathy for your political choices, I do wish your husband the best in his battle with cancer. But selling your soul to Donald Trump was not the best move. And like Nikki Haley at this point, well, I suppose to an extent you're a little bit better than Nikki Haley, who sold her soul and has absolutely no credibility whatsoever. At least you, Tulsi, maintained your position and didn't waffle on it, merely serving in Trump's administration. You took the high road and left. Okay, because, well, you knew you were going to be fired if you didn't leave anyway. So that's that, and all the best to you in the future. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, ladies and gentlemen, so leave them in the comments down below, and we can have a lot of great creative discussion. Take care of yourselves, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you at the next video. Professor Shelton, the Blue Collar Scholar, out. Peace.